This week on the show, we're talking about the elephant in the room. Tuesday's patch brought a big change in how mount skins are distributed and might have made a couple people upset. We're all going to weigh in, talk about the monetization strategy, what we feel about it, and why we feel it's wrong or right. We also have what we call news, and Gord has the last Extra Life update of 2017. You don't have to buy a loot box to listen on Shadow the Dragon. Welcome to Shadow of the Dragon. This is episode number 53.
Dang.
Yay!
Yay!
I meant to do that. That was drum roll.
Welcome, everybody. How you guys doing?
Welcome. Good to see you all.
Yes.
All right, so we have a full cast. So we have quite a bit that we want to go through. We were originally scheduled to do the scorecard special that we do every quarter. It's late. It's very late, but we will get to it. But with the, I guess it's affectionately being called Mount Gate that started this week, we wanted to kind of throw in and talk about that. So before we get into any of that stuff, Cora, what have you been up to in game?
I actually haven't been in game. It's NaNoWriMo. November is National Novel Writing Month, so I've been doing everything but that. I've had my short story due for the Winter's Day zine, so I was working on that deadline, and then I got invited to do a short story for Guild Mag Annual, so I've been working on that. So I have been writing, but I haven't been working on NaNoWriMo, so I'm like, well, I can't get into Guild Wars until I do my daily word count, and I have to do all these other things before my daily word count. So I've been punishing myself by not getting in game, and it turns out that was the best decision ever with the craziness.
You are like so super calm right now. Like I am absolutely amazed at the zen that is coming through.
Ho 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 t-shirt. Look at that.
Yeah.
Ho ho ho.
I have found my center. I am at balance with the universe.
Oh.
That's good. And real quick too, both the Winter's Day Zine and the Guild Mag Annual are accepting pre-orders now. Do not sleep on this. Jump in and grab them because there is a limited number, and when the pre-sales close down, they close down. So
my mom pre-ordered.
Cool. Woo.
Yeah. That was funny. We had to go over a whole conversation. She goes, "So you're writing under what name?" Cora. And Cora is you. Yes, Mom. Bless her heart. She tried her hardest to understand it.
All right, Gallus, what have you been up to in game?
Played a little bit of Open the Map in POF maps. I was just running around, farting around with that. And I actually played quite a bit of World v World when I got in each time, because I was under time constraint for a lot of stuff, and I was afraid to get started doing things. So, that's always my fallback. But I noticed some changes in a couple of the World v World maps that surprised me.
Oh, really?
So there was some moving around of a couple of towers and some changes to a few of the towers that I noticed. I don't know when it happened, but I noticed that there's some things in different places and some pieces of towers that were there that are no longer there, things that were just kind of cosmetic, except for in EBG. There was an entire tower that moved from one location to another location, which I thought was pretty neat.
I think that was actually in the Tuesday patch.
Yeah.
It may have been, because I didn't play very much World v World last week, and when I did, I kind of stayed in the JQ Borderlands because it wasn't stable, and so I took it upon myself to keep it stable. And then this week I jumped in and went in EBG. It's where I noticed the big changes. I don't know Inks why it moved, but it was the tower on the northeast side near Pangloss. It moved. Ogre Watch, I believe, is what it's called.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Ogre Watch tower moved. So if you remember when you come out of the Ogre camp and you look straight ahead, you could see it. Now that cliff in the Ogre camp that you could jump off, the left side of that cliff that you could jump off of and go down to the bottom, is now fenced off completely. And the tower moved against the mountainside. So it's on the mountainside. So it's to your left when you come out now, and it's a clear open space on the right-hand side now.
That might have been a line of sight thing.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I don't know if it was.
It was moved. I'm sorry to
with
cut
gliding.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw that. There you go. Thank you, Somewhat Obsessed.
Thank you, Somewhat Obsessed. Yeah, Ogre Watch cut. That's it. So yeah, that moved. It actually looks better in this location too. It's a pretty cool spot the way they have it. It's like a cliffside tower now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's nice when there's changes in WW. Anything else, buddy?
No, that's pretty much it. I didn't have a whole lot of time to play, but the time I did play, I stayed in World v World, and I had fun. I actually have had fun this week.
Good.
We were against TC and FA, and they're always a good group to play against. They seem to be very honorable, and it's been a good match this week. So really appreciate that. You two servers did a really good job playing, and I had a whole lot of fun this week.
Good.
I'm kind of gonna miss this tier.
Nice. All right, Miko, what have you been up to?
I was doing a lot of Dragon Stand, and I did World v World last night to finish off the Gift of Battle because I finished the Shining Blade. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, did you
was-
find Cypher and throw it at him?
No, not yet. We'll raid tomorrow, and Wedge finished his as well, so we're gonna be all
nice.
brandishing the Shining Blade. Super excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun. I did some commanding in Dragon Stand, which was hilarious.
Nice.
'Cause I know the meta, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I know all of the events, and so having to micromanage and type in chat at the same time of trying to not die and get the right things CC'd. It was fun.
I would follow you,
different.
Miko.
I'm gonna do an addendum on my thing. I did Dragon Stand for the first time. Tankin took me through.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It's
Excellent.
really
super
fun.
It is
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. It's a fun meta. It's one of the ones that I think out of all of them I prefer it. Well, Auric Basin is pretty good too, but Dragon Stand is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It
is
was,
a
and
lot of fun.
it wasn't.
Tinkin's everywhere, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
every time I log in, I see Tinkin's yellow dot somewhere.
Well, there's more to do in hot than pop right now. Sorry.
It was a lot of fun. I wish it had been tied into the campaign though of Heart of Thorns, because I was like,
Well, it's the
I really
battle
didn't-
that's supposed to
yeah.
be going on while you're doing Hearts of Minds, right?
yeah, and I get that. So I get like how they couldn't really tie it, like force you to go through it, but because I didn't have that, like, no, you really have to do it to finish the expansion, and I really struggled with that expansion. So I was like, I'm not going into a harder map where I'm again going to be running around and not able to do things. Screw that. So
Well, you're on your Power Hollowsmith now,
I am.
so
Yeah.
you've
Actually, no,
you've got to
I
build
think-
that kills things.
I think I did switch out of my Hollowsmith back to my old build for Dragon Stand because I kept downing, because the Hollowsmith,
It's more glass.
it's the most fragile of all the glasses.
Yeah.
So I switched back to my other build, which is now that I've played Hollowsmith, I'm like, actually, my old build is a little tanky, and that's
Yeah.
I think pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm noticing the differences in play.
Cool.
Cool. Well, I said during the pre-show I only logged maybe 20 minutes into Guild Wars 2 this week, but I did manage to level my Paladin Tauren to level 9 and got to level 6 in Overwatch. And played a lot of PUBG. I'm taking a break from Guild Wars because even before a lot of this stuff came down from this week, I was burnt out, and that's not a good place to be. So I just took a break, and I'm glad I did. It was a good time to take a break.
Sometimes
So-
you have to take a break.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah, I think it's important to, every now and then go play a different game, and then you can come back to Guild Wars 2 and you can appreciate it, or you can critique it better because you can see, what's lacking and where improvements need to be made, and how they could make them. So
Yeah. No, it's true. I'm getting more into fast games like Overwatch, PUBG. Like I said, I was thinking about Destiny 2, but I don't know.
Well,
I'm
if you
staying away from
ever
them.
the Division, you can play the Division
I
with
mean,
me.
I like Overwatch and PUBG because they're fast games. So I can I could play 3 games in, I don't know, maybe half an hour and be out. So yeah.
I like investing my time.
Yeah. Someday I'll get a chicken dinner.
And be a winner.
Oh, Dolvik. Nice trolling in chat, Dolvik.
I kind of agree. PUBG is not my thing. So, and
you
Overwatch
have to do
looks
it
really cool,
in a
but-
squad. Like usually when I play, I'm either in a 2-man or a 4-man, and it's a totally different game. You have to play that way.
Mm.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I
Moving
suck
on?
at FPSs, so I tend to stay away from
Oh, I do
competitive
too.
FPS.
Yeah, me too.
I will buy
am
you
terrible.
PUBG, Gallios. Whenever you're ready to make the dive, I will buy it for you.
I can snipe the hell out of NPC, but I have trouble with competitive stuff. Like
Yeah.
I guess my hand-eye coordination isn't what it used to be.
All right. Well, that's enough fluff.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back with what we call news. And we're back. Every bumper is going to be
Yay.
chill and mellow this show.
Nice music choice.
Everyone was going to be chill and mellow. All right.
Cool.
So, what we call news. We did get some news, and the biggest thing, and I'm really sad that this got shadowed over by other things, but Extra Life was last weekend, and this is going to be the last Extra Life update of 2017, and then I'll be getting ready for 2018. But anyway, thanks to a lot of people, Dolvik and Romo and BBK on Twitter, and a couple other people. I'm sorry I had your names, but I lost them. I sent out thank yous anyway, but thanks to them, I not only met my goal, I surpassed my goal. So I raised $465 for the
Nice.
Very nice.
the Bernard and Millie Duker Children's Hospital and the Albany Medical Center. So there's a meetup that's happening in Syracuse, and I plan on going up there with everybody's name. And there'll be screen names. It's not gonna be personal names, but I'm gonna pass it around to whatever kids are up there and let them know who contributed and everything else. So that was cool. The other cool thing is Arenanet also took part in Extra Life, and they raised an incredible over $16,500 for Jones Miracle Network. So it was great. Discreet was Garaz in chat, and Discreet, I don't know if he's here. Both were the highest donators for me. Garaz did not kind of bowed out of the contest. He just wanted to do a donation. So Discreet won
Because
the
he's the man.
yeah, Discreet won the Path of Fire Ultimate Edition,
Nice.
and he
Ooh.
gifted that to a friend of his to bring into Guild Wars 2. So it was great. It
Awesome.
was great all the way around.
Very
It was a lot
nice.
of fun.
That's the minions, baby. The
Yeah.
minions.
That was great. It was
My
a good
peeps.
time. So congrats to everybody at Arenanet for meeting their goal. Congrats to Hugh Norfolk, who shaved his head and actually found a better look for himself, in my opinion. He looks great. Bald head, he looks kind of sexy. So I hope he keeps it. But it was a great time. There was a lot of good times. I got hosted for 2 hours. We did an hour of Labyrinth. Romo came and helped me out, and we were full packed running around the Labyrinth, and then we did a fractal crawl, which somebody slept through.
I've been fighting off a cold. Okay,
It's
I'm
okay.
still fighting.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I just like poking at you.
I know. I was like, oh, I had my alarm go off, and I grabbed the phone, I turned, it was like, oh, that's right, the
It
thing.
was not. It was like 1 in
I
the
went back to bed.
afternoon. It was 1 in the afternoon. It was scheduled at 11 a.m. my time and 1 in the afternoon my time. So that would have been 11 o'clock your time.
And I was still sleeping.
She's like, "Did I miss the thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was like 3 hours ago."
I totally
like-
missed it.
Yeah, the
That's
fractal
okay.
wasn't it like at 8 a.m. our time, 11 your time?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
got
yeah.
out of bed at like 1.
No,
I'm not
it's fine.
joking. I felt so bad that morning.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for missing it, but I was like, you know what? It's not going full blown cold is more important.
Yeah. Well, this
So-
was my 3rd year doing it. The first year I made I think I was only able to do 4 hours because we were actually moving into the house. And then the last 2 years I fell asleep. I got farther this time. I made it to the second 3 in the morning. Well, it would be the first, but it was actually 4 in the morning because when I started the stream, the time didn't change yet, but that was it. I was done and I went to bed. So I think next year what I'm gonna do is 2 12-hour days, 1 12-hour day on Saturday, 1 12-hour day on Sunday, because I think that's just more doable for this old man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
That's that.
what's cool is it still everything counts, no matter how long you do it. So
Yeah.
that's what's really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, it is. It's awesome. It's a great charity. 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Children's Miracle Network. It doesn't go for any administrative costs or anything like that. You know, so it's a really good charity. So I'm glad Arenanet was a part of it, and they did a great job. I was so happy. All right, so Tuesday, the patch came in. We're not talking about Mount Gate yet. That's going to be the topic of the show. So Miko, you wanted to talk balance patch. It's all you, girly.
probably
Dun,
not
dun,
the
dun.
thing. I didn't really get to test a lot of the things out yet because I was running a lot of Dragon Stand on my Chrono, and Chrono didn't really get touched. So, you know, it was kind of like business as usual.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to try out the Druid with the new changes to Grace of the Land. So I'll get to test that tomorrow
Oh, good.
in raids.
Good,
we'll,
good.
We'll be might generating. I'll be doing what the PSs are supposed to be doing.
Just as
And
long as
now-
they don't make PS Warriors or Condi PS Warriors obsolete, I'm happy.
Now, I think you'll probably still need at least one PS
Woohoo.
for banners and stuff. But it might be just Condi Warrior.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think to roll. So it'll be cool.
Good. Yeah, I didn't get to play with it much. I didn't hear too much about it. I wasn't really focused on it. I know that
Well, kind of
Reaper
got
got a buff.
overshadowed by everything else.
it did. I know Reaper got buffed. And that's all I really heard. I don't think anything else. I know there was some.
The conjure weapons on elemental for
Mhm.
elementalists got nerfed.
Ooh.
And the earth shield got changed to using the barrier system,
Oh, really?
which is an interesting, and it got some damage increase. So, which is weird because it's a conjure that most people didn't take. So, not sure what they're kind of trying to prep there. It'll be interesting. I just, whenever they make changes like that, I'm like, what's going to be thrown at us in the next raid or the next big challenging content mode thing?
Yeah.
So,
during the pre-show, we talked about raid. When do you think it's going to be released?
I have a feeling that it's going to come before Winter's Day, kind of between Halloween and Winter's Day. And I feel like they'll probably roll it with season 4, episode 1, like they did last time.
Nice.
That's just the way that I'm feeling.
Nice.
I'm excited. I think we've all been waiting for a while
Yeah.
for a new raid wing.
So SPVP, the 9th season started last Tuesday. A bunch of amulets were added, and also players ranked Platinum 2, greater than 1600, can no longer duo queue in ranked matches while the season is active. So that was That was the thing. They also added Weaver, Howlsmith, Firebrand, Mirage, Soul Beast, Deadeye, Renegade, and Spellbreaker runes to the SPVP area. That was the other thing I heard. Deadeye, I heard, got a nerf to rifle. I think
it got a buff on one trait for might generation as well. So I'm not sure what's going on with the rifle because I don't play Deadeye, but I know that they're trying to make it so that more classes can do more things and then get the diversity back into raids, at least in the PvE scene. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, it was the spawn of Mount Gate. There was some World Polish in Crystal Oasis and most of the pop maps. Halloween ended, and they fixed a bug that enabled certain NPCs to wander up onto the day with Black Lion traders, making them more difficult to interact with. So that was a nice fix. Excuse me. I got body blocked a couple times, and I thought it was a player. I was even more annoyed. So that was it. I mean, that was the patch. Minus, of course, the drama.
The elephant in the room.
The
as
elephant
the title
in the
says,
room, right? as the title says. All right. So the other thing that came out this week was NCSoft's third quarter earnings are out, and I don't understand what the KRW is. It's like Korean something.
Korean won. That's the currency for Korea.
Oh, is it Korean won?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that makes sense. So. I thought it was like Korean royalties won or something like that. I didn't know. All right, so that's that. So from let's see, from Guild Wars 2, going into the second quarter was at about 13.5 Korean won. Thank you for that, Miko. The current quarter, prior to the changes in the gem store, it was up to 20 billion Korean won. So that was a 7 billion whatever increase, which I thought was pretty impressive, being that Path of Fire base model was about $20 cheaper than Heart of Thorns. So it's good to see a little bit of growth. I kind of figured it would spike a little bit because of the expansion, obviously. So, I mean, that's that.
But as in most marketing, I know in my line of work, a lot of times if you do have quote unquote a sale, it's you could generate more profit if it's cheap enough for more people to buy. So you get more people in, which raises your profit. Now the margin may not have been as high, but the profitability was better. So
well, I think
maybe that could have something to do with it as well.
Yeah, I think this is bottom line what NCSoft's profit was at the end of the quarter. Is what they're reporting to their shareholders.
Which means most likely they sold more copies than they did of HOT.
It could be. I mean, really, this is all we get, and this is the only little bit that we're going to see when we peek under the curtain. But a lot of people kind of use this as the gauge, and I guess you can't always use it as a gauge of the health of the game and so on and so forth. But I know that 20 billion is more than 13 billion, so good job.
Mm-hmm. Galios is dying.
Yeah, the bourbon went down the wrong pipe. Give him the Heine leg.
I could. I did a CPR Red Cross class some time ago.
You all right, buddy?
Yeah, the whiskey went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah, a little. Figured.
Yeah, I can see it. All right, so that's all I pulled for news. Oh, it went down the wrong pipe again. Come on, buddy.
My eyes are watering.
That's me. To be honest, though, that's me anytime I drink any sort of hard liquor. Like the tiniest sip, I'm like, my esophagus.
I happen to breathe in I should really stop breathing whenever I take a drink of something.
Oh God, dude, you sound bad.
Well, he just seared his lungs with liquid fire, so yeah.
Wow.
All right, so that's all I have for news. Does anybody else have anything? Anything they want to bring up or anything they saw out there that I missed on the interwebs?
I mean, this is Miko's fine, but I think it's cool, so I'm gonna make sure it's mentioned. Is the tiny little lore things that are happening around the area where the shadow behemoth is, where there's now these dead bodies and mysterious skeletons, and so that's, I believe, stuff that's going to be hinting at what's coming in the new Living Story season. And I was so excited when you posted about them, Miko, since I have been not allowing myself to game since I haven't been doing my homework, essentially.
Yeah.
I was all
Laura
like,
is the red lady.
I was like, oh, it's the
Yeah.
Red Lady. This is all leftover season 1 stuff.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking
you know,
that
this
it was-
is Scarlet. It's all left
Mhm.
over. We didn't see it, and then I was like, oh no, wait, this
like,
just
wait,
came.
there's- Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
there's
as
more
Kyle in chat saying doom, 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 which is a
Yeah.
possibility.
I
We're all caught
I
now.
love
Whoa.
the I love that area, and I love the lore behind it, because the reason why we have those portals is because that was the original Temple of Ages. So in Guild Wars 1, heroes could go through the Temple of Ages and we'd cross the Veil of the Mist, and we'd go fight and do all kinds of things. But because we were constantly crossing back and forth the mist, we weakened the veil between the two worlds. And so that's why in Guild Wars 2 there's all these portals, and the shadow behemoths and the shadow monster and the shades come through, is because in Guild Wars 1 we weakened it. And so it's still,
Excellent.
yeah, it's coming over into Guild Wars 2, and you can go in the water and you can go down and see the sunken statues for the gods, and they're all broken, and it's just so cool. So the fact that they're going back in there and they're adding in new things, I think is awesome. I hope this means that they're going to brush up the shadow behemoth, like
That'd be nice.
yeah, because as of right now, it's everybody's got it down, and it's just like I can just stand there and auto attack, and
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah, and that's all you have to do. But if they could go in and brush up those mechanics now that we're 5 years on, you know,
Mhm.
that'd be good. If you can start brushing up those world bosses.
Yeah, within reason for
I
a
like-
starter map too.
Yeah.
'cause-
Oh,
I
yeah.
like jumping
usually-
in there and acting like a badass and just kind of like
Oh,
running
yeah.
around and in his feet and stuff like that. Like, you can't catch me, bitch. You can't catch me.
Yeah, no, I don't want them to make it impossibly hard, especially because it is a starter map. But I think make it a little bit more
It's hard.
challenging, or add in new mechanics.
Yeah, they could. They already did a revamp though. A couple years back, they did a revamp right before Tequado's revamp, I believe.
Mhm.
They changed some of the mechanics with Shadow Behemoth. I don't know if they'd go back and do it again.
But like, if we're getting new lore in that area, I would think that it would hint at some greater storyline, and that the behemoth would tie in. So like, let's see something, because the world bosses, I love them. I love doing world boss train when it happens, but it has gotten to the point where everybody just knows, like, oh, auto attack, this is how we take it down now, more or less, for all the world bosses. So yeah, it would be really cool to see them brush it up and give us something new and a new lore around the event that happens. So we'll see. But I just love those tiny little things. So I can't wait to get in game and go check them out.
Mhm.
And nighttime,
Yes.
Yeah,
since some of it only appears at nighttime. Yeah.
yeah. I'm thinking
Cool.
it's more than likely leading to an Underworld raid. I think the next raid
It would
wing's
be
going to
cool.
be
That'd be cool.
Underworld. That would be awesome, and they should do that. Somebody I saw on Reddit, somebody had mentioned the unnamed Lich, which I guess has been around since Guild Wars 1, but I didn't know much about that NPC. So, but that was a direct connection to the Underworld. So it's a very strong possibility with the 6 moving on out of the mists and basically into another Tyria 2.0. It's very likely that that Doom would have escaped, because I mean, I don't know if it's canon lore. I think we did in Underworld. I don't remember if we resealed Doom or if we killed Doom once he was brought
I-
into Underworld. I don't remember.
I don't think I ever did those in Guild Wars 1, because I never had a guild in Guild Wars 1. And I was a ranger in Guild Wars 1, and whenever I would try to do dungeons, people, one, would ask me what I'm running, like, you're running a ranger, we don't want you, boot. Or two,
Oh, yeah, I
they'd
remember
ask
those
me what,
days.
or they,
I used to two-man. Well, no, not two-man. I used to run one Spiteful Spirit Necro, it started off as 55 monk, but then it's shifted to shielding hands, I believe it was, and 4 trap necro or rangers. So the rangers would run up, run their traps. I would proc up the necro. The necro would run in, hit Spiteful Spirit, draw him into traps, and everything would just melt. That was
Yeah.
That's
before
cool.
Assassins. The Assassins be clear, so.
yeah, I don't.
But we'll see. It's
I-
exciting. They added the first 2 bodies, and then I heard that they added another one just today. So hopefully by Tuesday we'll see something in current events.
Yep.
So
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
all
Hopefully
right.
this season current events won't be as hidden as they have been in the past. That's the other thing. So,
Yeah, I liked that they would drop little hints in the patch notes, which I was scanning the patch notes for this week, and I didn't see anything. So it's kind of neat that they just dropped it in silently and didn't even bring anything to kind of draw players' attentions to it. If that's, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I have to say, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Oh, you can buy a loot box to find the hidden current event. It's coming in the gem shop. I had to do it. I'm sorry. No, too
God.
soon. Too soon. Sorry, I had to do it. All right.
Gord, you're fired.
Oh,
You're
what
fired.
will I do on Friday nights now?
Fired.
All right. Well, with that, me getting fired, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the elephant in the room. And welcome back. All right. So we're all going to have a nice discussion. We're encouraging chat to interact, but again, we're going to remind everybody we're going to keep this civil. This was a decision. It is not highly unlikely for corporations to try new ways, new things to sell a product, and I believe that that's what this was, even though it did raise some tempers and ire and everything else.
Tempers? What? What are you talking about? Angry? Who?
I'm sorry. I was reading Ink's. I pledge allegiance to the show of Thor the North and will not fight him for creative control.
Anyway, we're gonna be nice.
Show.
Before we get into any kind of discussion, just today at 6:39 p.m., I believe that's my time, Mike O'Brien made an announcement. So I'm going to read that first because I think it's important. So Mike says, "Hi, we made a commitment to you in March of 2012 that we'd fund Guild Wars 2 live development through non-pay-to-win microtransactions. We tried different ideas, but we always hold true to the commitment, to that commitment. We've been collecting and discussing your feedback on mount adoption licenses, and today I'd like to acknowledge and respond to the concerns you've raised and to share our perspective with you. You have valid concerns about random boxes. We hope that the design of the mount adoption license will be reassuring. In this case, we made some missteps. One, at a time when there's a lot of debate about random boxes in gaming, we should have anticipated that a new system with random element would cause alarm. We released mount skins with 3 different purchase models, but with the majority of skins released so far through the adoption, licenses, it's easy to perceive this as intentionally channeling you towards randomization. The adoption license is a large set at 30 skins. We stand by the work our artists put into each skin, but it's understandable to see this as pushing down the odds of acquiring any one skin and to worry that we might add more skins to lower the chances further. So Mo goes on to say, here are some of the benefits that they had in mind when designing the mount adoption license. One, you get a brand new unique mount skin every time for a substantial discount versus an individual purchase price. It uses a progressive mechanic. Every license gives you a new skin to use and increases the odds of acquiring any remaining skins. You've requested variety, and this is a way to support variety. Individual sale is the mechanic that works with a few flashy skins. Using a grab bag mechanic gives us leeway to create skins to suit a wide range of player tastes while offering a lower price per skin. Microtransactions can be polarizing, and we receive both positive and negative feedback on the license. We won't change the existing license in a way that would invalidate the investment players have made, but I want to confirm to you that our next planned mount skin releases will focus on individual sales like the Reforged Warhound and bundles like the Spooky Mounts pack. Will not add any skins to the currently available adoption license, thus not pushing down the odds of acquiring any skin in that set. We appreciate the thoughtful feedback many of you have provided, and that you hold us to a high standards for monetization. It's been a challenging but wonderful goal to support live development and Living World purely through optional microtransactions, and it's your support that's made that possible. Thank you, from Mo. So that's that. Anybody want to comment on that?
Oh,
The part that, I mean, I'm kind of English teacher mode here. On the second part, the second set of bullet points, that you get a brand new unique mount skin every time. It uses a progressive mechanic. You get a unique skin every time. It's like basically points 1 and 2 are the same point. So they're trying, I don't know, whoever helped him craft this, a bit bad. You don't try and kind of pull the wool over our eyes by giving us the same point in 2 points when you're actually just making 1 point. That's just the way it might be.
I do want to say all comments are welcome, provided that they are not asking for anyone's death or done in a way that is not very nice.
Yeah. I mean, the devs all care about the game. They all care about their players. And none of these choices are coming from them. Having worked in several different game studios, I can say, like, their personal feelings about what is right and what should be done and what feels icky,
not taken into account.
It's not taken into account. So
they did not make this. Maybe somebody in the studio came up with this monetization package, but that is their job. Yeah. To do that.
And seeing as how it is a thing that is happening in the industry right now, I hope it is a thing that the industry ultimately rejects, but it is a thing that is happening. So for nobody to recommend it, for it to never happen in Guild Wars 2, I think was not realistic. I think the best response was that, yeah, people do let them know, hey, we don't like it, but it needs to be done in a mature way and not coming off like toddlers having a tantrum in the aisles of Target because you can't get the toy you want.
Well, no, let's be frank. The people that were going out telling devs that they should kill themselves, or going out there and saying that devs should be fired over this.
Can I say my old word?
Go for it.
Can I do it? You know what word it is, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
You are pricks.
It's not right. I mean, it's a common thing, and it's very easy to get used to seeing people as zeros and ones. But that is I think that is the worst thing, because coming out of last weekend, I have never been so proud to be a part of this community, to work with people in the community. Ruby reached out to me a couple days before the stream and asked if she could host my channel for 2 hours. We had a very nice conversation. She was really into Extra Life, and to have that overshadowed on Tuesday by something that they didn't even do is wrong. People have a job. If I go into work and my boss tells me, you have to do this, you have to go on social media and say this, then I have to go on social media and say that. That doesn't support somebody's personal view or something like that. So I think that's kind of the thing that got lost under just lost in the sea of red. It was, and that's what can't happen. You can vehemently disagree with the decision that's made, but you can't go and tell somebody to kill themselves, first off, or just say that person should be fired. It's easy to throw that around. What if a customer called and said you should be fired? I mean, how would that make you feel?
Right.
It's just not right.
That sort of toxicity over, and as much as I love the gem store, over fashion items, it's not cool. I mean, that much of toxicity over anything is not cool. Like I said, I'm perfectly fine. Like, I am not a fan of it. So you want to express like, hey, we really don't like that you put this in the game. Please don't do this. Please get rid of it. I'm not going to buy anything more from the gem store as long as it's in there. That's fine. I mean, boycotting is a valid method of saying like, we disagree with this thing that you are doing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, personal attacks on employees who are just doing their job, that's not okay.
No, and Ozzy the Mighty in chat just said he loves the devs, and he feels that the top dogs from Arenanet needs to communicate their plans as they go along with developing their game, and I agree with that. I think that's normal. I mean, you don't have to give every detail of what's coming, but definitely a lot more interaction would go a long way.
Well, communication as a whole has always been one of the I don't know if Achilles heel is the right term, but it's always been sort of a weak spot with Arenanet. They're not very good at communication. And one of the things that stood out to me this week, because I work in communications, is that it just felt like whoever put the marketing strategy together didn't have a good response, like a backup plan. What happens if the crap hits the fan? How are we going to respond? How quickly are we going to respond? The fact that the official Twitter account kept retweeting the positive reactions, from people going, oh my God, this is awesome, kind of in a way felt a bit sleazy because they just were promoting that whilst the rest of the community was going, what the heck is this about? So it felt a bit tone deaf.
Yeah.
And then once they finally did tweet out that they had, merged some threads together and there was an official thread, it was like, okay, that's a great response. But I think that just felt to me like you should have kind of prepared for that, considering that loot boxes have been so negative across the industry.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, like, there's been multiple articles about loot boxes being negative across multiple games.
Yeah.
How did they not think?
How did you think that that this could be an outcome?
And it could have been great. It could have been just a minor few that said like, hey, we really don't like this. Mm-hmm. That's one way it could have gone. And I think that's what they were hoping was going to happen. Right. But how did they have a plan and it just didn't execute, or were they like not allowed to make that plan?
Three things I want to touch on from chat. Romo brought up, and I do agree with this. They also can't get behind the fact that we can't complain on the company because a handful went crazy and pointed at specific devs. Anet as a company messed up, period. There were a few black sheeps that went above and beyond to insult them, but that doesn't make it so that everybody can't say anything. And I do agree with that because, you can disagree at a level, but it does, people going over the edge like that, it does make a problem.
It does more harm than good.
Also, Kit had also said, when we were talking about the devs on Twitter, she had said, that depends which dev, since there's only 3 of them that runs the Twitter. Maybe one was asked by the higher ups to do so. And that's talking about the official Guild Wars 2 account. And then Jebro brought up in chat in regards to the loot boxes, people buy the loot boxes, which is also another true thing. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying people shouldn't buy loot boxes. If you're comfortable buying loot boxes and that's okay with you, go for it. It's your money. Do what you want. That's cool. All right. Now that I totally derailed the conversation.
No, you're fine. I made a post, like the only one that I really made my statement on my Twitter of, was if you're a responsible adult and you want to buy if you want to buy loot boxes, you do you. You know, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not going to shame you for buying or not buying. That's fine. My concern with loot boxes is I don't care how game companies phrase it. It's gambling.
Yeah.
And there's regulations within this country on gambling, but there's not within video games, and that's problematic.
Oh, it's deeper than that.
You can get yours in a second. For me, there are gambling addicts out there, and having a gambling mechanism in their game when maybe gaming is their coping mechanism to deal with gambling, well, now you've put their trigger in the game. Then you also have the fact that there are minorities, there are minors, sorry, not minorities, minors who play games. Sure, there are minorities who play games. I wouldn't want my, God, what is he, 13-year-old nephew playing a game that is encouraging him to gamble everything, like all of his allowance money. And then you hear those horror stories about, like, yeah, this kid spent like $3,000 on the game, and now the parents have to try and like talk with lawyers to see if they can get out of it, or they're just footing that bill. And we haven't done enough studies on, well, what is the effect of that, of normalizing gambling and getting them addicted to it, because it is addicting. I find myself struggling at times with some, like, I love mobile games, but they have that, like, oh, it's just 99 cents to do this thing. Oh, well, I just want to get to that thing. And then I realize, like, when I go back and look at my bill, I spent $20 on that app.
Yeah.
That's bad. So normalizing it to that level at earlier and earlier ages, like, what is that going to do as they get older?
Exactly. And that's
I know that's been one of your main points.
That's
all
half
week,
of the
Gord.
problem.
Yeah.
The problem with this for me is twofold. There's the Arenanet issue, which I'll get into, because I have I made up a script for myself to keep me on task. But the bigger thing is the ESRB is there to do this. And if you look at the ESRB's site, okay, and let me pull it up. Things that they have all kinds of ratings from E to E10 plus, teen, M, which is mature, and A is adult only. So here's a
list.
list.
E stands for everyone, just so you know.
Yeah,
so like
E
any
stands
age.
for everyone. So here's the content descriptors: alcohol reference, animated blood and gore, cartoon violence, comic mischief, crude humor, drug references, fantasy violence, intense violence, language, lyrics, mature humor, nudity, partial nudity, real gambling, sexual content, sexual themes, sexual violence, simulated gambling, strong language, strong lyrics, strong themes, blah, 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 going through. There's 2 mentions of language or gambling, which are not, if you look at, and I don't mean to pick on Guild Wars 2, but this is one I look at all the time. I've never seen gambling listed in their thing. Where, and this is what the issue is that the ESRB does not see loot boxes as gambling, and it has to come to a point where it was. Well before Guild Wars 2, well before this Tuesday, I stopped buying Black Lion chests and Black Lion keys, and everybody out there could call me a hypocrite. It's fine, because I used to go around like, I bought my keys and I got 50 scraps and I got this. It came to a point where I had my eye on Battlefront 2. I wanted to buy Battlefront 2. I love Battlefront. I love Star Wars. It's a great game. Pick up, get in, get out. Then I heard that they were basically doing pay-to-win loot boxes. Then you hear about it in Destiny. Then I bought Assassin's Creed Origins, and you could buy loot boxes there. Loot boxes are everywhere. And I took it upon myself at that point to decide I'm not supporting loot boxes anymore, period, in any game that I play, including Black Lion keys, until things start to change and calm down. Yeah. That is the issue with me. Guild Wars 2 is a rated teen game. If I'm a parent and I look at that, I see use of alcohol, fantasy violence, blood. For a teen-rated game, here you go. I'll buy that for my 14-year-old. My 14-year-old could be sitting there gambling.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
Well, and the way they're getting around it is, well, it's not gambling because it's not using real money. It's not money. You're just spending some gems.
Well, they call it simulated gambling, and it's basically allowed under the T rating.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be.
But again, It's
I
not like it's not like I'm gambling with game money that I earned in game. No, I spent real world money to buy gems, and then I'm gambling gems. Or, oh well, you don't have to spend real world money. You can just grind out the gold, and then exchange it for gems.
You
No.
can. And you know,
It's still gambling. Gambling is gambling is gambling.
it's the gray. And you know what? I could probably say that a game studio like Arenanet is not looking at, okay, this is how we're gonna get around this gambling.
No, I don't think
I
they
don't see
are.
them doing that, but I see them getting on the train, and it's the bigger companies like Activision who's taking out patents on how they can get gambling tendencies into the game and stuff like into their games. Stuff like that. They're going to
I
do
can
that.
tell you 100% certain, because I've seen these job postings out there when I've been job hunting, that certain studios hire psychologists with the intent of finding out how can we create the psychological environment that keeps them playing, or for loot boxes that gets them essentially addicted to needing to get that next loot box, to spending the money to get that next thing. I don't think Arenanet is one of those people.
Well,
but there
they,
are
they,
those.
they do have those elements. I'm going to be completely honest. They do have those elements, and the mount skins prove that. And that was another thing that upset me.
I was meaning, like, I don't think Arenanet is at the point where they're hiring psychologists saying,
no,
how can we make this game more addictive and how can we trick them into spending money? There are studios that do that, though.
Yeah.
And that's where the problematic is. That's where we like you said, it's the loot box train, and every big company in the industry is doing it. So yeah, companies are jumping on the train trying to see, like, well, how much money can we get from this thing? This is the trend. This is what gamers want, because all the big studios are doing it.
But that's a common misconception, because I've heard two big names say, well, loot boxes are a part of gaming now. Loot boxes are not a part of gaming if we don't make them a part of gaming. Netco00 in chat brought up a good point. You could say that the Mystic Forge is gambling. Inks had put into chat too that you can spend real money to turn it into gems and turn it into game gold to buy ectos in order to ecto gamble, which is another good point.
Yeah, when that came into game, ecto gambling made me very nervous. It's gambling.
And I did it. I won 2,000 gold. I lost every bit of it. I'm down to 138 gold in game because I kept going back to the ecto gambler, because I hit that 2K gold. You know, I splashed it everywhere.
That's the thing. There's no difference from, like, if you were going to Las Vegas and you're at the card table.
Exactly.
You get that gambler's high of, oh man, I just won 200 ectos. Let's see how many more I can get, and then you wind up losing it, and so you have to try and make your ectos back. That's the exact same language you hear from addicts in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jebro's bringing up a good point. To be honest, playing PvP during a ranked season is gambling because it's heads or tails. I think in order to hone in on this, PvP doesn't require real world money. It is gambling, and that shouldn't be understated. I'm saying it's a joke. It is true, but I mean, should we? I guess that's another good question. Should we even make that a line? Should we take a tough stance and just say absolutely no gambling at all in games?
Well, I think we have to find where's the line from randomized chances to gambling. Because there's a difference between, like, I'm going into an event and it's randomized chances of what's going to happen.
I'll tell you the difference right now. What the difference is between the two of them is there a direct consequence in a negative light in one direction or the other? So, you know, it's like when you're going to start a football game, you flip a coin. That's gambling.
Yeah.
Gambling to see if you're going to win the toss. But there's no real negative impact other than the fact that your team gets to decide who receives and who kicks, right?
Yeah, but you know
Right.
what? Romo just said in chat. Sorry to cut you off. You don't
Mhm.
see kids gambling in
Correct.
Vegas. And as a matter of
Correct.
fact, if you're not 21 in Vegas and even Atlantic City on the East Coast, you don't go in the casino.
Yeah.
Period.
Correct.
Period.
Yeah.
Or 18, whatever it is. I
There's
forget
a
what it is.
hurtful
Well,
impact should
yeah.
one lose, especially. So there's a hurtful impact to it that is deeper than win or lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest difference in what you would consider gambling. You don't really have anything like the Mystic Forge. You don't really have anything to lose. Hey, I got this crap in my bag. Let me just toss it in and see what happens.
Mhm.
You know, because it's not a loss to you. You know, honestly, because if it were a loss to you, you wouldn't throw it in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know just sometimes when my bags are full, I just toss them in. But if I've got to take a $5 bill and stick it in a coin slot, I can decide at that point, is this $5 going to buy my next meal? Or am I going to put it in here in the chance that I might and pay this other guy who's going to eat steak off of my $5?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
don't know
hope
if I'm,
I hope with that
explaining
point,
that correctly.
yeah, I hope with that I don't sound like like a dick. I've been in situations where I was down to my last $10 and my choices were to buy a pack of cigarettes or to eat. And I always chose eating.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was addicted. You know, I'm still vaping it up. It's better, whatever. But that's not, that is kind of piggybacking on the issue. But I think what the bigger issue for me personally is the fact that our government and the ESRB, if it is even a government agency, I don't even know, is allowing gambling, and they are in a board that is supposed to rate video games to help parents decide. My thing is, if you have any kind of RNG gambling in your game for real world money, it should be rated M. Period.
Yeah.
A 17-year-old kid can make that decision. They're out there working for a living. You know, most kids at that age know what the value of a dollar is, in my opinion. Not every kid, but most kids do. And I think at that age, you can make a decision if you want to throw your extra $20 at Guild Wars 2 to buy RNG boxes. Go ahead, or Overwatch or whatever game does it. But anything under that, no way. That's my thing. And I tell you what, if you throw an M sticker on a game for gambling, watch how many people drop RNG loot boxes.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I agree. I agree with you. They need to crack down, and it needs to be on those things. If they came and they told Arenanet, yeah, you put gambling in your game, so we now have to rate you M. Arenanet would immediately go,
Done.
Ecto gambling is gone. Loot boxes are gone. We're sorry, we didn't mean to.
Yeah, and Deo,
So-
I know Miko said it, but Deo also said in chat that ESRB is not government organization. I just want to make sure that was known.
Yeah, they're not.
I just linked to their FAQ about.
So that's
They're a
good.
nonprofit self-regulatory body.
But they have,
Yeah.
but as that regulatory body, they have a responsibility to look at this stuff. And you know what? If the big names like EA and Activision are greasing the wheel, so to speak, to allow this type of predatory behavior, because it is. It
Well,
is.
the thing
Oh,
is
for
that
sure.
the games, the studios don't have to rate their own games. They choose to. So
Yeah.
if you've
Yeah.
chosen to put a rating on your game, you're trying to show that you're kind of above the board, that you're
Yeah.
within these parameters.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, one of the words that I kept hearing frequently this week is I'm disappointed. Right? Disappointed was.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, and I think it's because, or at least for me, I'll speak for myself. Arenanet has always come across as being very forward-thinking in how it treats social issues.
Yeah.
And the fact that they would even try this out as like a new pricing model or new business models to sell a product felt very. It just was disappointing because I guess we hold them to a higher standard because they, or at least I do. I don't expect them to be kind of sleazy, I guess.
Mhm.
You know,
No,
the car salesman kind of tactic, that kind of,
loot boxes feel skeezy.
yeah.
They are
They are
skeezy.
predatory. I mean, in Japan, the gotcha system, the
Mhm.
fact that it's called gotcha, like, haha, gotcha, we got your money.
Well,
Like, that's what loot boxes are.
and Deo said this, you get around this because of that middle ground with gems. But gems, let's not forget, gems, and even Arenanet does this. Any cryptocurrency that's inside of a game is set up where you buy something, you have to buy at a set interval, but nothing lines up with it directly.
Yeah.
There's very few things that you could buy for 800 gems in Guild Wars 2. There are some things, and there's probably more things in Guild Wars 2 than other MMOs. Hands down, that's great. It's still there. It doesn't excuse the fact that type of mentality of buy more than what you need, and then, well, now you have a remainder. Oh, well, you want this thing. You're only 100 shy. Maybe you got the gold for it. Maybe you don't. So, buy some more gems. But the lowest amount of gems that you could buy is $10. So they're almost guaranteeing their sales doing that with this type of mentality.
That's why hot dogs and the hot dog wiener and a hot dog buns are not sold one-to-one. Like, you can't buy, okay, well, here's 8 buns, but the pack only sells me 6 links. So, yeah, like, they do that intentionally. So that way, like, you've got a couple buns left. Well, you don't want the bread to go to waste, so you got to go buy more hot dogs. Well, now you've got too many hot dogs, so you have to buy more buns, and it just feeds into it.
Yeah.
I just want to address Jebro again in chat.
Yeah, okay.
He brought up a good point, and this is part of my rant. He wanted to know why black line chests have been such. Why haven't they been such? It's scrolling. Why haven't been such an issue in the past? As much as this, he's really interested, and he feels that it's literally the same thing. I've bought tons of black line chests, and I knew when I was buying. And Ramos said that you could get the key in game, but I honestly think there's a different drop table for a in-game free key than a bought key. I bought a ton of keys, and the reason why it never bothered me is because there was only one thing. Like we added the elemental sword this time. We added this, but there's other things you could do. You could pick up the guaranteed wardrobe unlock, and I was pretty lucky with those. Black Lion scraps and Black Lion tickets you could get. You could get mini tickets. There's other things that you can get that aren't really desirable, but they're there. And I always knew going into buying it that I was mainly going to get Black Lion Merchant Express, Bank Tab Express, all kinds of boosters when they were in the thing that I didn't like or whatever. But there was just that chance of that unbreakable style contract, whatever it is, that I could sell for 2,500 gold on the TP, and I wanted it, so it never bothered me. And I agree, and I said before, people could call me a hypocrite because I'll get to core. People could call me a hypocrite because I ran all over the place talking about buying keys, buy your keys, get your keys now, and keys, and I got the new node that came out and everything else, and I don't buy keys anymore because I feel the same way. It's a lesser. It was the gateway drug for the mount gate.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cora. I'm sorry.
No. For me, I think I've probably in 5 years bought a total of maybe 25 keys across all that time. So most of my keys just come from in-game, and I can tell you from playing for 5 years, I have, I think, finally 3 tickets and like 6 scraps. And I think I just got my 3rd ticket fairly recently. So in 5 years, if through natural selection or whatever, that's how many tickets I've got, and like how many weapon skins have they come out for the Black Lion chest? There's no way. So to me, I was like, there's no value in me buying those tickets those chests because I'm not getting tickets at a fair rate.
Yeah.
So I'm not spending money then to try and increase my chances of getting those tickets when I want those skins, but why can't I just spend gems to get those skins? And then when they appear in the Black Lion, and when they appear by players selling them, they're so exorbitantly expensive that, again, it's not worth it. And I think part of the problem with Mount Gate was that the skins you get through the thing, yeah, that's cool that every time you're guaranteed to get a new skin. But if I don't want that skin that I got, I want to be able to sell it.
Mhm.
Right.
And
I just want to
if-
say quick too.
yeah.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
no,
but
you're fine.
Chat's
Go.
moving fast. Jeb said, "Here's a question: If GW2 relied upon those systems to survive for years to come, would you still pay? No. At this point, I would prefer to pay a subscription or a preferred customer billing model at $15 a month than I would for microtransactions. And Arenanet would never do it because the money is not the same. They'll make more money off of microtransactions than they would off of a subscription."
I
And he
Haven't-
meant play, by the way, not pay.
Yeah.
Would you still
I,
play?
Would you still play the game?
Would you still?
With the recent changes, I am not playing the game. And a large percentage of that is because I did not agree with the changes that came in with the mount skins. Period.
I haven't felt that bad about not playing this week because of it, and I love the game, so that's kind of poopy. I'll come back to it. I love Guild Wars, so I'll come back. But as far as the gem store, I have significantly decreased how much I spend on the gems. I mean, not only because my financial situation for the past almost 2 years has been weird and like getting worse until lately. I'm good now, but the fact that I'm like stable now, I'm like, I looked at my checking account and I'm like, wow, I've got $400. I'm rich. I could go buy like a book. This is awesome. Nowhere in there was the thought of like I could go buy stuff in the gem store, and that started a while ago when they stopped doing armor sets, when it went full force.
Yeah.
The outfits, when they did Timey's new outfit, I was immediately like, the last time you did armor sets, and because you did Timey's armor as an outfit, that means everybody, Bram, Rox, Jory, Marjorie, everybody's going to be an outfit, and I don't want outfits. I wanted to mix and match the armor. And they do a few pieces here and there. I loved the Alyssa's Mirror focus, but I didn't buy it. I did a trade with people. I was like, hey, I'll draw your character if you get me the thing. So I don't even want to do that anymore. Like, I don't even want to because I don't want people spending. It feels icky. And I think it's going to take some time for that icky feeling to go away. And I feel bad because I want to support Arenanet, and I still love them, and I love all the devs there, and I support the devs, and I care about them, and I don't want to upset them. But there's this icky feeling
There is.
for me as a player, and I don't know how to make that feeling go away.
Miko,
buy
did you
the
want to
skins.
say something?
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. Is if you don't want to feel icky, just don't buy the skins.
Period.
And that's where I'm at.
Because at the end of the day, these skins, they don't make you a better player. They don't give you any advantage in the game. It's just a cosmetic look, and I hate to use the phrase just a cosmetic look, because it feels like it's kind of minimizing the issue.
No. You're
but-
right on target, because I love the fashion wars. I love all the shinies.
I think a lot of players do. But Inks brought up a point earlier in the chat. I'm scrolling up. He said that more people care about the mounts than chests, than the Black Lion chests, and it's because we've all got access to them because of the expansion.
Yeah.
And because cosmetics is the only thing that you kind of, I guess, upgrade and make yourself more shiny, since the level cap doesn't change for the character progression. It's the thing.
Well, and there's no way to get mount skins in game so far.
That's the other point, right? It's like you could have. This is a point that several people have made throughout the week and in several videos. Is you could have added mount skins to a reward system, and we had that same criticism with the glider skins.
That's where I'm at, because
It's like if you expected them to give us rewards mount skins when they didn't give us glider reward skins.
Yeah.
Why were you expecting it?
But
mount?
with the glider skins, it was, oh, hey, here's a glider skin I like. Let me go buy the gems to buy that glider skin.
Right. The only one that they bundled was the Soul River one in the Bandit appearance pack.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
My issues with this whole thing isn't even necessarily the RNG aspect of it, because I'm gonna say I didn't agree with everything that Wooden Potatoes put in his video. I didn't, but the things that I did agree with was where the way he laid out where RNG could be fun. Bringing in some, and this was all in-game stuff. Bringing in a breeding system where
Yes.
you could breed and have a random chance of getting one of these skins. They didn't do it. 3 issues I had with this whole mount gate. One, they didn't have to. They established the price in people's minds with the Halloween bundle of 400 to 600 gems per skin. They could have sold all those skins from 400 to 800 gems a piece, and some of them they could have got 1,000 gems for. And they decided not to. They decided to lock it in. And you could say that it's better than other MMOs. You could say that it's not as bad as other MMOs, but it's still, like Cora said, it's still skeezy because they knew that they had mounts. And I'm not trying to put any artists down or anything. Everybody worked on those things and did the best that they thought they could do. Some of those mounts they knew were going to be less attractive and less popular with the players and wouldn't sell. And that was their way to get them sold.
That's the nature of things. You look at the minis, and there are some minis that are awesome and super popular, and so you go to the trading post, and they're the most expensive items because everybody wants that cute or shiny or whatever.
Yeah.
So you don't know which ones are going to be the ones that are super popular. Some of them I think you could guess. Like there are some of those mount skins where I'm like, dang, that looks beautiful, and I want it. I want it bad.
And a lot of people
But I'm
did
not
that.
going to gamble to get it. I'm not going to spend $190 because what if it's that very last one? What if I don't get it until I've gotten all the rest?
It was 156 for that way for 12,600 gems. Miko, you wanted to say something? And then we'll get to you, Gallios.
Yeah, no, I think it was the point that Jebro brought up in chat was the thing that having this explosion that happened within the community, could they have been less mad? And I kind of wanted, the thing that I think it was just mishandled. That's one of the points that I agree with Wooden Potatoes, is that they could have changed their approach to how they released the skins. And announced the release. They could have dripped it out like they've done before. Like, oh, today we've got this skin and today we've got this one. So, I mean, there was just a lot of things that kind of coalesced into not making it a good strategic marketing approach.
All right, Gallios, you had something you want to bring up?
Well, I just wanted to expound upon what Cora was saying, and I think that's the way it hit me as well. Is if you have as much RNG issues as I have, and there's a reason why I don't do a lot of RNG type things in the game, and I stick with, like some of the chat people are saying, with the vanilla. I mean, I don't make a whole lot of stuff, but if I do see something that I really like, I wait for it to come onto the trading post as a purchasable item that I choose to purchase, that I want to have, but I get to pick that item. What I would have, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be that guy that, say I was gambling on these skins, I would be that guy that would be exactly like what Cora said. What if it's the last one that I ever get?
At that point, you might as well just pay the $120 and get all 30 of them.
You might as well just pay the $120 and do it. So it's kind of,
right?
That's what upset me, I think, the most. Now, I'm calm now, but when it first broke, I was, and I hate to say I was livid because I wasn't really livid. I was disappointed in the fact that this is the only way I could do this skin. Like, I'll be the guy who's going to do the 400 gamble or the 2,000 gems. Either way, it's a big dent in my freaking pocketbook. I support the game as I can. I buy skins. I buy things here and there. But it's always stuff I know that I'm going to get a return on.
Exactly.
I'm not a poor investor.
Well, but that was the issue with this, is they took your choice away. If I just wanted to buy 3 skins, why couldn't I just do that?
Well, I mean, and Inks brings this up in chat. Players told them at Halloween that they wanted to buy them as singles.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
They'd already gotten that feedback of, we don't want a bundle. I don't want the skeleton glider skin for the floating pancake. I just want the skeleton for the
For the
raptor.
right.
So I have to buy all 5, but that's money I don't want to spend.
Well,
And so when they've already got that feedback, to then take it to a next level of saying, here's essentially a bundle of 30
And
if you
then
want one.
yeah, well, and then there's also we haven't talked about the jackal mount, the special one for
I'm gonna get
2K.
to that.
You know,
Let me
and
just.
that was a huge, thing. I mean, granted, it looks like they put in a lot of work into it, but it's basically like a legendary quality for
And-
skin.
I
and how
have
much
2
is
more
that real
points I
world
want
money?
to throw out
That's-
quick.
I mean, other games do it. I have the expensive skins. Yeah.
So what you had to say, Gord?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can finish up. I'm sorry.
Oh, just real quick for Jebro, the floating pancake. Sorry. Everybody's laughing about the floating pancake comment. It's the
The skimmer.
skimmer. Thank you.
But Luke TR808
and-
in chat has a good point. He says if you're not going to play a game or quit a game because of bad press from skins
Mm-hmm. But-
and not actual issues with the game content,
Mhm.
then yeah, I mean, and that's a valid point.
And here's the
I
thing
mean-
too. Kit is putting in chat. It's about the same price as a WoW mount, which is $25, so it makes sense. Absolutely correct. But the
Yeah.
difference is, I can go on into the WoW store, and I can see that is $25, not 2,000 gems. I don't have to buy the gems first to buy the mount. I can go there and look, and even as a 14-year-old kid, I can look and say, "Mom, I want to buy this," and Mom can come look and say, "That's $25. You're not buying it." Or, "Okay, that's $25. You can have it." You don't have to do that gem to
Yeah.
money conversion,
Right.
and that's
Well,
the big
and
difference to
the
me. At
reason
least.
why those companies do that conversion of gems or whatever the video game is calling it, not just Arenanet, is specifically so you don't know how much money you're spending. Yeah, when you have to go buy the gems, you're like,
Or you
okay,
don't
well,
realize how much money you're
I'm buying $30 worth of gems, but I'm spending 2,000 or whatever on the thing. You don't realize there is a literal mental disconnect between the real world money and the gems. So it doesn't feel as expensive because it's just gems, it's just game money, except it's not, and they know it's not. And
Yeah.
when to take it to this level of I can't pick I can't pick which skins I want, like when they come out with now they're gonna have to come out with the floating pancake skin for the skimmer
with bacon and syrup.
with bacon. So if it's a pack and everybody only wants the the pancake for the skimmer, they don't want the
Bacon for the raptor.
bacon
Yeah.
for the raptor. Like we should be able to choose. Like I just
Absolutely.
want that one.
And that's what the issue with this was. The other 2 issues I had, I'm going to put it out there real quick because we keep bouncing around. The second issue I had was with the jackal mount, the forged reforged hound or whatever it was that came out for 2,000 gems, which was utterly ridiculous in my opinion. The price of that one skin was equal to, but sold more than, it was equal to the 5
The spooky mount.
Spooky Mount pack, which sold for less than that. And that being said, the sale of this single skin has made it, at least to me, abundantly clear that there is no plan to put legendary mounts in game that you can earn in game without having to buy things through the gem shop. And that's wrong. That's wrong.
They did the same thing with I take that back because we do have the legendary gliders, right? The legendary
We do.
backpacks can.
We got 3. And, they're not that great, but they're better than gliders that you can get. Most of the gliders that you can get. The last thing that got me, and I didn't see this anywhere else, was the sheer volume of mounts that they released. Arenanet LLC,
wow.
and I want to be clear on this. When I'm saying Arenanet right now, I am saying Arenanet, the corporation, not the employees of the corporation. Arenanet LLC has released 36 skins for mounts in 7 weeks, yet it took 1 year twice to make legendary armor, which has less dye channels and is not as good looking as some of the costumes that are in the gem shop. So what they have shown me right now is that free in-game armors like tier 4 cultural armors are hard, but mount skins are easy. Yet mount skins cost more than the expansion that came with 3 to 4 new armor sets that are hard to make. But Arenanet LLC has proved to me with this Tuesday's release that they will continue to put more effort and dedicate more resources into what they can monetize rather than game development of the game itself, period. That's what it showed me.
I mean, I've always in the past been the counter to everything Gorgeous said. And all I have to say is, look at how pretty my knitting is, guys.
And Jebro just said, well, it's not called the microtransaction store or something like that. But that's exactly why I would prefer...
Inks just asked, is $25 a microtransaction? Can we count that? No.
That. It's
$25
not.
is, I mean, that's a pair of shoes. That's an outfit at Target. That's a hardcover book.
That's what I pay for my vegetables for the week.
Yeah, that's groceries.
Because I buy
for some
weekly.
people.
I buy stuff for salads weekly.
And you know what's
Yeah.
crazy? I mentioned it earlier too about the lowering of the dollar amounts, but increasing the sale count to bring in profit, whereas your margins are not as high, but your profitability is higher. So, if you have a lot of people, I'm sorry, I am not tabbing $25 to buy a skin. It's just not going to happen. But I'll spend $5 every once in a while to get it. Now, if there are 5 other people like me that will spend $5 but not $25, how much money have they made? $25. I think some of the price increase is trying to say, well, if we charge more, we can make more. But if you charge less, you'll sell more.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. I'm going to get back to that. But Jed, I want to say you cannot call a microtransaction. You can't call something a microtransaction when it is 80% of the cost of your expansion's base level release price. It was $30 for POF, and it's $25 for a mount. For one mount that came in among the 5 that were released with Path of Fire. That's not a microtransaction to me.
Yeah, at that point, like, if we're paying $25, it better be like a bundle of the 5 most awesome mount skins, and like maybe that's worth it. But yeah, $25 is not still in this day and age, it's not an insignificant amount of money. It is not a microtransaction. Microtransactions are the mobile apps that get me when they're like, hey, 99 cents will get you these 6 different things for our game. And like once a week they do those 99-cent sales. I'm like, oh, but I do need that. Click. Mm-hmm. And that's how I then wind up with, like, at some point looking at my bill and going, oh, I spent $20 on a mobile app. Oops. But like at least I got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but how often do you play that mobile app right now?
Every day.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm saying it here, people. I love Guild Wars, and I hope it's around for a long time. Guild Wars 2 might not be here in 5 years. We might be on Guild Wars 3 in 5 years. At some point, Guild Wars 2 is going to move on. Now, are they going to leave the servers open for Guild Wars 2 the way they did Guild Wars 1? We can't count on that because Guild Wars 2 is a much, much bigger game and a much, much heavier resource than Guild Wars 1 was. Yeah. So at some point, you're paying this money, these $25 at a time, for something that is eventually going to end and you're not going to use. If it's 5 more years and that $25 gives you enjoyment for the rest of the 5 years and you feel it's worth it, that's great. To me, it's not. It's just not.
If they had released the mount skins like the glider skins,
that's what everybody expected.
If that's what they had done, and then I could look and say, I don't want the zebra jackalope, but I do want the glowy space griffin or the flamey griffin. I can either spend money on that, or I can, as I did before, say like, hey, if somebody wants to gift me this thing, I will do a commission of your character. Like, I feel like that's a fair trade because I've studied, I've been working my art skills, so like I've put my time into it, and then I have to draw it. So like, instead of you paying $10 or $20 for me to do a drawing of your character, like just give me the thing that I want. And like, there's no way I'm going to tell like trade people like, oh, gift me a mount license and I'll do your character, because it doesn't feel like a fair trade to me that I'm spending a lot of time and effort trying to make you an awesome commission, and then I get the zebra jackalope.
Yeah, which is probably one of the better Springer skins.
Yeah.
Here's something I want to read, because we're starting to go down into
Rabbit hole.
not a rabbit hole, but down this is starting to come into the argument I'm seeing in not argument, but into the discussion in chat. This is not my tweet. I read this tweet 3 weeks ago, and it made a lot of sense to me. This was more in line with the I believe with the discussion for Assassin's Creed Origin and some other games that came out with loot boxes. But this is from at Ethan McAfee. Ethan is sorry McAfee on Twitter. And he or she, I'm thinking it's a he. If you're she, I'm sorry. But in monetization discussions, this is a wall text, so bear with me. In monetization discussions, people like to talk about the cost of games going up while prices have stayed relatively the same for a while. Discussion on the merits of responsible budgeting aside, this totally ignores market growth over the last few decades. Best-selling games in 2005 to 2008 were moving only a fraction of the units non-best-selling sellers are expected to sell today, and our numbers today are often underreported due to the increased prevalence of digital distribution. You make a lot more money selling 18 million games at $40 than you would for selling 5 million $60 games. Ignoring the second half of the equation and the entire concept of an economy of scale just comes off as extremely silly. Now, not only have the cost savings from the economy of scale, which are almost completely fixed rather than variable, not been realized by consumers one bit, but apologists are trying to convince him or her that it should be working in the other direction. Now, of course, none of the armchair economists actually know how much costs have gone up and whether that has truly surpassed the growth of sales figures over time due to the expansion of the market. But focusing on one data point to try and make any argument is simply just dumb. For Ethan, when it comes down to it, I would rather play a cheaper, smaller game with less famous or even no voice actors and lower polygon counts than one in which the core gameplay loop has been undermined by the perceived need for further monetization. If you need to make your game worse and turn to unethical, manipulative monetization tactics to turn a profit, then it's time to do your job, focus on turning out a decent project, and examine where your budget needs to be to make that happen. I think that's a very strong and poignant point, and it made a lot of sense to me.
I will say, since Mountgate, I have been thinking more about how I am spending money in this mobile app. This is not a good mobile app. The game is poorly localized. The fighting mechanics or game mechanics are at times so infuriatingly broken or hidden of how do I pass this level? This doesn't make sense. It's counter to what I just did, or well, here I scored an S, which is the pass, but then I go over here and the exact same number that I got that got me the super score on the last one got me an F. I failed the level with the exact same score. So it's a messed up game. It's got all sorts of problems, and I'm still yeah, I'll spend money on it because I want the things. But they have some that are very expensive. They're hey, you could buy this pack for $9.99. No. But when they do those 99-cent sales, or even a $4.99 sale, they're still offering me enough things that I'm okay, this is worth it for me to spend on this not the best game. With Arenanet, this is a good game. It's not, it doesn't have any problems. It doesn't have bad just go with me on this. It doesn't have bad mechanics, and the localization is good. So on a good game, you should then have good microtransactions, have less expensive things, because I do go in and I like looking at the Black Lion trading post, but I'm I can't afford to spend $30 every week to be buying 2 items. But if you lowered it so that it was $5 a week and I could get an item or 2, or $10 a week and I can get 3, I'll spend the money on that. If it was that the mount skins were, I can pick exactly what I want. Yeah, I'm gonna probably buy a lot of those, more of those mount skins. If I could sell them, if it was a RNG, I don't want this skin, let me sell it, and then maybe, yeah, I'll get it again, but then I can sell it again, and I'm getting money then in game that I can use in game. Okay, that's fine, but like they didn't do any of that. They locked me into having all these things, and like I said before, I'm gonna be the one that gets the mount skin I want as the very last one of all 30.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
And you
And
know
it
what?
feels
I'm
sneaky.
I'm the player that if I drop those 400 gems, I would probably get the one that I wanted within the first two. Because that's just how and I'm not trying to brag or
Yeah.
anything like that,
No,
but
your luck
that
is
shows the
different than mine.
disparity of RNG. I can say in the 5 years that I was buying chests, I have probably gotten more than 400 or 500 scraps from a chest. And Galio saw it. I get at least, if I buy 25 chests, I get at a minimum 20 scraps and 2 tickets. And where Cora has gone through 50, we'll say, and gets 0. That's the disparity of RNG.
I mean, you guys have been on when I had bought a few Blacklight, the keys, and they're like, "Oh, how many scraps did you get?" None. I got none. That's how many I got.
Yeah.
Did I get any? Did I get
Her
anything
RNG
good?
is so
No.
bad that she can't even get her commander spoon.
But I'm
Oh yeah,
I know. I
That's
I
true.
just tweeted about that. Somebody tweeted a comment, and I think it was tagged like on the official Arenanet thing of like, oh, something with 250 commander spoons, and I was like, I feel like I'm getting trolled. Like they didn't tag me, but the fact that this is out there, I feel like is aimed at me because in 5 years I haven't had the commander spoon drop.
Well, look at the night you ran with us. And, you know, it was all in good fun, and I was just teasing, but I started calling every time I got the commander spoon, and probably in 2 hours, I must have called it out 10 times. And
Yeah,
Cora
no.
saw nothing.
Yeah,
So it
I don't
happened.
get them. I also just on average don't get exotic drops.
Yeah.
I get them maybe once a month, for as much
Magic
as I,
Find.
yeah,
What's your
that
magic find?
Yeah.
it's up well over 200. I think I'm actually almost at 300.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah. So I consume whenever I salvage
the
stuff
luck.
and I get the luck. I consume all the luck.
Mhm.
So I have really good luck according to the game, and I get almost no drops of anything beyond the yellow.
It increases.
And even my yellows are low.
Yeah,
It's
see
supposed
what,
to increase as your magic
what
find
it
increases.
exactly.
It's never-
what
it's never
happens
done
is a precursor drop will say, and these are all made up numbers. I'm pulling them out of the air. This is not official or anything. A precursor drop it will say is a 0.0000001% chance that you'll get that precursor on a drop. If you max out your magic find to 300%, that goes up 300%. So guess what? Now you have a 0.0000030% chance of getting that same precursor. That's how it works. I like playing with numbers, and I knew that we were going to start getting down into the nuts and bolts and kind of this and that. So I did a little exercise on our Discord. These are all completely made up numbers. This is all projections that I did. There's the doggy. These are all completely made up numbers. These are not real numbers, except for this one. We have got 41 mount skins in 6 weeks, just about 7 weeks. That came out to about 6.8 skins per week. Now, using that number, okay, and also using the number that was released in the 5-year infographic, which was 11 million players. I know that there's probably not 11 million players playing actively in Guild Wars 2 right now. But using these numbers, if we assume that there's a 2-year development cycle for Expansion 3, that would mean that we are between now, if they continued with this, we would end up with 707 skins by the end of the 2-year dev cycle. That's a 6.8 skins per week.
That they can't do armor.
We would do 707 skins. Now, using the 11 million number for players, well, before we do that, if we assume that they sold these at 30 at a time, that would make 24 RNG packages over 2 years. That would total $3,744 if you did the RNG route, all RNG. It would equal $2,880 if you bought every single one of them outright. So assuming that people went with the RNG, if using 11 million players as your number, 25% of the player base bought in and did the RNG route for these 707 skins, Arenanet would stand to make $10,296,000,000 off of this RNG loot box. Okay? If only 10% of the population of 11 million bought in and did the RNG route, it would total $4,118,400,000 for 707 skins. And if only 1% of the population bought into this and did the RNG route, they would make $411,840 over 2 years. Those are the numbers I came up with. Now, to compare that to WoW, if you use the same number for WoW for subscriptions, and WoW right now is at about 5 million subs, I believe, last time I cared about it. If they had 11 million subs over 2 years paying a subscription, not counting gem shop sales, WoW would make $3,900,000,000. And to me, that is insane. Now, these are all perfect numbers, perfect storm scenario, probably not going to happen. But when people are talking about money, this is the amounts of money that people can make off of microtransactions. So I thought it was fun to play with that number.
Those are big numbers.
It's huge.
It's huge.
But I've said for a long time, and you know, Gallius kind of said it in Discord. Everybody's like, "Oh, Gord's gonna be spitting with salt. He's just gonna be a salt pile on the stream." And I was like, "No, I'm really not even surprised." And Gallius said it. I've called this for the past year. Cora and I have argued over this for the past year, you know, and I feel like here it is.
Like I said, I have by and large been the opposition, you know, well, not, you know, opposition, but like I've been the counterweight to Gord's feelings of it, because I love the gem store. I love that I can buy the fashion items I want when I have the money, or trade people and get them as gifts.
Yeah. And to be clear, just to be clear, I don't. Looking back now, after the change that went in on Tuesday, looking back on the gem shop, it was not really that bad prior to the shift to RNG, the way they did it, because you can't do that. You can't force somebody to buy something that they don't necessarily want to get what they do want. And even if they only have to buy 3 and out, that's what's sleazy, and that's what disappointed me. I wasn't angry. I wasn't yelling or whatever. And Romo just said it. They pushed too far with this. And this is another thing where it was the same thing. There was another issue with Heart of Thorns. There was issues like this where Arenanet just pushes too hard. To their defense, it did not take them long to come back, recognize what the player base had said, and they changed their billing model.
Well, like Galio said in chat, instead of speaking up, it wasn't necessarily the skins or even the amount of skins, it was the delivery. Like you said, we have to pay for all these things we don't want to get the one we do, and that feels icky. And then we're stuck with all these skins we didn't want to get to the ones that we did. It feels bad, and everybody's been saying tonight, it's not even a sense of anger, it is a sense of disappointment.
Well, it was also the same. I don't mean to cut you off. But,
you're fine.
It was also that how they treated the information about it, what they were doing to kind of celebrate it, and then also the same day they got these Xboxes, and everyone was like, oh my God, the company bought us Xboxes.
Oh my
and
God,
you're
I
like,
didn't even want to talk
oh
about
my
that.
God, that's
I
Yeah,
didn't
I
want to
I
talk
was
about
thinking
that.
in my head, I was like, oh, Peter, big mistake, Peter. Peter, big mistake.
Oh,
Yeah.
Miko.
Man.
Miko gave me the excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, well, it's well, but it was just like, it was just so many things that just kind of coalesced, and we're just like, I don't
So in our Discord, we have our host chat where just the 4 of us can chat, and I brought up that, like, have you guys? Here's the thing, I'm not angry that they gave the devs to Xboxes. I think that's an amazing reward.
Yeah, they definitely
They worked really
earned
hard.
it.
They deserve them.
And it was like the same day that this shitstorm was happening. You're just kind of like, oh.
And they had no
it does.
clue, but they had
We-
no clue.
and
Of
it-
course
yes.
not.
I know.
And this is the thing. Here's their devs on their personal accounts. They're saying they're celebrating. Look what my job just did. They gave me this amazing thank you gift for all of my hard work. Even though some of them, like, they're brand new hires, they're like, this is amazing. I love working in video games. And then my thread also has all the Mount Gate stuff. So I'm like, you guys aren't aware.
Right, you're like not paying.
Happening.
It was like an echo chamber,
I have,
basically.
I have to take my hat off because Inks just ruined it. Inks brought up in chat that NCSoft gave all the studios the Xbox One X for their 20th anniversary. The reason why I put the hat on was because I was gonna say Guild Wars 2 is being ported to the Xbox One X.
Tinfoil hat theory.
No, and
But
that's-
Inks
and that's
ruined
the
it.
thing. Again, I'm not saying like it wasn't a cool move of them. It was awesome. That was a cool thing. It was just coming at like a bad time.
Yeah, no,
It made it feel like, wait a second, like we support the gem store because we're, you guys need to help pay for you to.
Exactly. It just added fuel to like the people who had gone, and were like super, explosive. It just kind of added fuel for them to kind of just,
What it was.
It was just sad.
It felt like, and I'm not saying this is accurate, but what it felt like and what it was being perceived as was it was Arenanet's let them eat cake.
Yeah.
And that's how it was, not intentionally or unintentionally, but that's where it was sort of like, I'm sorry, wait, what?
It came across to me like they went full on EA, period. It was like such a series of unfortunate events. It really was.
It was
It
just,
was just bad timing. If it had been a month earlier or maybe a month later, it wouldn't have been there. And
I felt horrible for the devs because they were coming off.
Everybody
was exactly. Everybody's coming off the high of exceeding, like not even just exceeding their goal for Extra Life. They crushed it. They raised $16,500 for Children's Miracle Network. They come in patch day. They have their waffles on patch day. They walk into Xbox One X's on their desk and everything else, and then all of a sudden, Mount Gate. Holy crap! Twitter was on fire. I mean, I am guilty of salt spewing, and I left Twitter for 3 hours because I just couldn't take it anymore. It was way out of control. And Deo said it a while back in chat. It's unfortunate because you had the extremists on the side of anti-ANET, and you had the extremists on the side of pro-ANET, and they were drowning out the real discussion that was actually happening in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Well, and I saw people commenting both ways that like, oh, in game people are shaming people who bought the mounts. Like, oh, if we see you running around with that awesome mount skin, you're gonna get yelled at and like bad whispers or whatever. And then I was also seeing the reverse. People were getting apparently shamed for not supporting the gem store and not buying the mounts, which is also not cool. So like shaming on both sides is not acceptable.
We've kind of entered this culture of shaming though in our society.
We have.
And it's unfortunate because people are pricks. Yeah, that at the end of the day, right?
And the one thing that I do want to point out is I saw some people trying to use Wooden Potatoes video, and this is nothing against Wooden Potatoes, but I saw people trying to use Wooden Potatoes video as like an answer back to Jim Sterling or John Sterling, whatever his name is. Jim Sterling makes those videos because he is vehemently opposed to loot boxes in any game, and any game that puts in a grimy loot box system, he makes a video about. And he had actually made 3 videos that day, and 3 weren't about Guild Wars 2. One was about Guild Wars 2 because people started emailing him about it.
him.
And of course
Yeah.
he's going to jump on it. So the issue got skewed. I love Arenanet. I have played their game since 2005, and I would love to continue to play the game. But the point of the matter is that the decision that they made for packaging and bundling, how they decided to sell their mount skins was wrong. But you can also have to say, no matter how mad you got at them, no matter how much it bothered you or anything like that, what you have to recognize is that they came back 3 days later and made a change going forward. They don't want to change what they did, but they're going to change it going forward. And that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I'm still disappointed because I'm like, well, I guess I'm never going to have those awesome mount skins that artists put so much work in and are so proud of, because I'm not gambling. I'm not doing it. So, yeah, you made amazing content, and you made it and you put it out in a way that ensures I will not spend money on it. I will not get them. I'm not supporting that.
So,
and that's
but
frustrating.
if they changed the system for the mount license, the adoption license, if they changed it to, okay, now we're going to just change the box and everyone who basically gambled, what do we do with them?
I mean, you would have to give a
Do
refund.
we do you give them a refund? I mean, they could have done that. Or do you say, well, we're going to just honor it, we'll just keep it the way it is, but going forward? I mean, it was kind of, what do we do? You know, how do we honor it and not get another backlash?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, they're trying to think of things they could have done. It could have done, okay, well, we're going to deactivate all the skins you unlocked. We're going to give you like claim tickets, and you can go pick out the exact skins you want since you gambled, you know, for 12 skins. Now go pick out 12 you want. If you still want the exact same 12, go for it. If you want 11, but like the 12th one, you want something different, go for it. If you want all 12 to be different skins, that's up to you.
I think they made the right choice. And Kit saying it in chat, she bought them, so please don't refund her. And that's her choice. And that's another thing that you can't ignore, that's somebody else's choice. I think they made the right choice in saying we can't change what we did, because they have to honor who bought that stuff now, but they can change it going forward. And everybody has to accept that. Yeah, I know.
I wasn't trying to advocate that that's what they did. I was trying to say, well, what, you know, play the devil's advocate or thought game of, well, what could they have done? And that's the only thing I could think of that they would have done. But then, people like Kit, who that's what they wanted to spend their money.
Exactly.
Like, people weren't like blindly like, oh, hey, point and, you know, I'm just gonna click and my money's gone.
You know, and I've heard players say, you know what, I actually like that it's RNG because I'm going to be surprised, and I like that about it, and you know, that's absolutely, you know,
I'm not ashamed to say that prior to RNG, well, not true, because a portion of what I bought over the years has been RNG Black Lion chest. I can say by estimation, and I'm probably going to ask, I heard you can ask support to give you a total of how much you spent, but I could say I'm close to $2,000 spent into this game. And that's probably, not with RNG. That was from pure support. And I put my comment where they asked me to on the Guild Wars 2 forum, and I kindly said, I don't agree with you, and I'm not making any purchases from your gem shop till it changes. And I think that's the most power that anybody has.
Right.
Yeah.
I love this game. Right. I have loved this game since Guild Wars 1, and I will support the hell out of this game. Even if I don't like everything that's coming out of the studio, I will support it because it's a great game. It is the best MMO out there, in my opinion. It used to be a Maverick MMO, and you can't say that it's the Maverick game-breaking MMO anymore. You can't. But there's certain things that I can't accept, and locking things, more desirable things behind less desirable things in a lockbox is not going to fly with me. And that's enough for me to pull out 100%.
Yeah, I don't see wanting anything from the gem store for a while, because like I said earlier, it feels icky, and I don't know how to make it stop feeling icky. Like they announced going forward they're going to make this change. Well, great.
Yeah.
However, at the moment, there's still these 30 skins, and some of them I really want. And you said you're not going to change it, which is fine, but like that means those things that I really want, I'm never going to get. And going forward, you're going to do something different. Well, what is it? Is it going to be the 5-pack bundle like you did at Halloween? Because I didn't like that either. I didn't want all 5 of the Halloween mounts. I just wanted one.
But that's
So
also what's coming is the singular and the bundled packages. And I think they realize that they have some mounts that are more popular than others, i.e. the Griffin and probably the Jackal, where maybe the Springer and the Skimmer. I never use the Skimmer unless
Did
I'm
you
on water.
Have you guys seen the Jackal skin that has like the same Astralaria effects?
Yeah. There's a Griffin skin
I
like
don't
that too.
want to
The
look at them.
cosmic.
Yeah.
It's so
I've
freaking
only seen
pretty.
a few.
I
I've
wouldn't
only
buy
seen
it.
a few of the
I
awesome
know.
mount skins that people have posted screenshots in Twitter
Yeah.
or Discord, and I don't want to look them up because, as I've said, I'm not spending money on that RNG thing, so I'm not getting them. So then I'm like, well, great.
I mean, you
Mm.
can preview
That's-
them in your hero panel too.
I don't even want to. Like maybe when they do the next set that comes out that isn't this icky RNG feel, like maybe it will lessen some of the disappointment that I still have.
I think that the statement today helps, but I feel like I have to watch everything because this sneaky tactic, and that's what I'm going to call it because that's what I feel it is. This sneaky tactic didn't go over, but what's the next sneaky tactic? And it almost feels like grooming, where it starts off, okay, oh look, we have this little key. You can buy this key, and it's really not that bad. You know, you're not going to get everything great, but you have a chance to get something great. Here's the key, you know, and that was kind of the gateway to this. I didn't have a problem buying keys. I don't have a problem admitting that. That's how I supported the game because I didn't like costumes. I wanted armor and other things, but it came to a point where I realized that buying those keys led to the next level, which was the RNG loot boxes for mounts that just came out. I mean, the only way that they could make it better would be to put some of them into the game, into a reward track. That's the only way it would feel better to me.
Yeah, Dolvik says they lost trust, and lost trust takes ages to build back, and that's sort of where I was feeling. I started feeling that when I realized when they released the character armors as outfits, that I was like, oh, so we're really doing this. We're really not doing armor sets anymore, and that caused a feeling of disappointment, a little bit of lost trust in the gem store. But they still were releasing some things that I really liked, and then to go this extreme with it. Yeah, you feel like somebody you really cared about really let you down.
That's
And
true. Yeah.
how do you come back from that?
I think
It takes
everybody
time.
here, even I don't want to speak for Kit. I don't know if it let Kit down or not. I mean, and if it didn't, that's fine. It's almost like they have to. Well, what I was gonna say is most of the people here are probably a little bit disappointed in the choice. Yeah, Kit's agreeing. She was a little bit disappointed in the choice. I think everybody felt that because nobody expected this from Arenanet, not this style.
yeah.
And you could say it's not that big of a deal compared to other MMOs, but when you look at the entire problem in the gaming industry, and you're seeing big names like Bogotter, and I'm really not trying to call anybody out, but Bogotter had said, loot boxes are part of MMOs now, or part of gaming now. No, they're not. Not unless we
Or
accept
they don't have
them.
to be.
They don't
Right.
have
Yeah.
to be.
They don't have to be. I think the one thing that I do appreciate, and I think was a good step into earning people's trust again, is coming out what Mo did today and saying, "We heard you. We're not going to do it going forward. This is not the model that we're going to use."
But coming
That's
for
a
me,
good. That's a good first step.
it is a good first step. But for me, coming from Mo, he's not going to do that again. What's he going to do next? Because
For me, yeah.
I said back in episode 8 of this podcast, you cannot have the president / CEO as your game director. And there is evidence in game where the direction of the game development is focused solely on what could be monetized. You see it with key rings. There's no reason why we can't have a key ring. You see it now with the amount of skins for the mounts that have been released why can't they do armor? Why is armor more hard, or why is something that comes in game more hard to do, like a key ring? You know, and Recycled Spirits saying he's moving that over to Mike Z. That is true, but if you think that Mike Z is not being groomed to act and think the same way as Mo is, I feel that would be a wrong statement. That's not how business works.
My thing with him saying, like, well, we're going to do better going forward, well, what does that mean? What does that exactly mean? Is it, okay, well, we're going to go back to, like, the $2,000, or it's not, sorry, not 2,000, the 2,000 gem for one mount skin? That's still icky. Or
That's
is it going to be,
much.
we're just going to do bundles of 5?
If they put
I don't want those either.
The lesser desirable, there's probably 3 series of all 5, maybe even 2. If they put those 2 less desirable skins for the bottom 2 skins for each mount, and that's not judging artistic ability or anything like that, whatever is the least popular for those 5 mounts, put those in game and reward boxes in some way to get a collection or something. Sold the mid-level for 600 gems, and sold the higher levels. They could get 1,000, maybe 1,200 gems for the Cosmic Griffin and the Cosmic Jackal that I saw. I would pay that for those. 2,000 gems is too much. I won't do it.
Yeah. No,
and
1,000 gems. Yeah, 1,000 gems for a really top tier, like, legendary mount skin. Sure, I would spend that, or do a bunch of commissions to get it.
Yeah.
But for 2,000 for one, no, I'm not doing that. And I'm not buying packs of 5 when I don't want to dress up my pancake to fly around on the water. Because that mount was designed to be a water mount. It really isn't good for anything else. So yeah, if you're gliding over the land, you go noticeably slower. You can hop off and walk faster.
You have to think to the first expansion was glider skins. Second expansion was mounts. They seem to be movement skins. What is the third expansion's wow factor going to be? Because the wow factor is the big item that is going to push forward the gem shop. And by them saying that the gem shop sales pay for development of living story, I see that as something fair, and that's something that I want to buy into. But what do you think the third expansion, what is that going to bring? Boats.
We're going to get boats. We're going to get boats to fight Bubbles. Steve
Gem shop
McBubbles.
guild halls. A lot of people are saying player housing. A lot of people I've talked with said player housing.
Ink says
well,
boats.
that was the.
And Ink
that was
says
the thing
boats too.
Yeah.
Submarines. Maybe submarines I would do, Dale.
Submarines.
I see it being boats. I don't want it to be boats, but I see it being boats. It's going to be this new mastery system of boats.
Oh, third X-Pax is coming. That's Cantha. South to Cantha.
Yeah. Well, to get there, we're going to have to cross the ocean. We're going to have to fight Steve McBubbles. So boats.
It could be, but I mean, how do you monetize a boat?
Custom sales.
Yeah, exactly. Alaska winner. Why boats when there's airships? I would buy an airship.
You want to go north, right?
Well, because the 4th expansion, we're not going to arrive at Cantha. 4th expansion will be all in the ocean fighting Steve McBubbles. So boats and submarines maybe, but like boats. And then the 5th expansion will be in Cantha. And then I don't know.
You're pushing it too far. I think the 3rd expansion is going to be the last expansion for Guild Wars 2.
I mean, that was me being maybe I took a little bit of
very hopeful, and it's so cute.
So
no, I don't want it to be boats. I don't want it to be boats because I don't want to see like a fishing mechanic come in and like.
Oh my God, no fishing.
Yeah,
Alice, what were you trying to say?
Me?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so we should be wrapping this up soon because we're starting to drift.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Thank you for keeping us on point. Before we end the discussion, Jebro made up a good point, and it kind of went off the rails. It went in a direction I didn't want it to go to, and a direction that it wasn't supposed to go to. But anyway, he had said if people just got active and put as much passion into an issue that they did into this issue with Mount Gate, we could change the world. And you
Oh,
know
yeah.
what?
Yep.
We can. And this is how we're going to start. I dropped this on Twitter before. I'm dropping a link in chat. I've already signed this petition, and this petition is on Care2Petitions, thepetitionsite.com. And the name of the petition is Stop Preying on Children with Addictive Gambling Practices in Video Games. Restrict loot boxes. There's 49 supporters right now. There's 100,000 is the goal. I've signed it. I put it out on Twitter. I know Trask had told me on Twitter that he has already signed it, he or she. And I'm just asking you, if you guys really feel strongly about this, sign the petition. They just did this in UK. It didn't quite go the way that they wanted it to, but it did go in a direction that is going to bring change. And I am of the opinion that with the ESRB out there, they should at least take a look at how they're doing it, and the government should get involved and look at this behavior. So there's a link in chat. It's going to be, I'll put a link in show notes for the show. And if you really feel strongly about this and you don't like it, for games in general, sign it. That's the best thing
Done.
we can do.
I signed.
I got to say, too, thank you.
Got a government response in the UK, is what Dolbeck says.
Yeah, it
Negative
did.
response, but still a response.
Yeah, I don't think it was as negative as they expected it to be, but it did get a response.
I think the government is behind the times. They don't understand yet. They're like, it's just video games. You could just not gamble. Or it's not real gambling because it's not real money. It's like
It's just Vegas. You don't have to gamble.
It is real money.
Yeah,
it is.
It is real money. And this is where technology moved faster than the law can keep up with. Faster than
and that's
yeah.
not just this issue. That's plenty of issues out there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So,
All right. So again, Garaz, no problem. Thanks for that. I want to thank everybody for keeping really good discussion in
Absolutely.
chat. And
Yeah.
and this is, everybody out there, whether you're for whether you're for it or against it, this is how we need to talk to our devs. This is how we need to talk to the people who make our game. And they will bring it to the people that make those decisions, but they are not the ones making those decisions. We know that
And
for a
the-
fact. So
And the thing, when you say it in a vile manner, it gets disregarded.
exactly.
That's it.
So no matter
Exactly.
if you are correct or if you have a valid point, if you're saying it with swear words at them, if you're telling them to die or that you hope they lose their job or they should get fired or whatever other vile threats or
Say it,
words or
Gallows.
language, yeah.
because they come off as what, Gord?
A prick.
All
All right. With that, we're going to take a break, and we are going to come back and close out the show as soon as my music plays.
I feel like we need to learn the song so that way we can just start humming it when he's having technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened. Stop. I need silence.
It's not
Silence.
working.
Bear with me. We got a blooper. This is the first blooper on the live show, just so everybody knows.
Y'all didn't know we went through this crap, did you?
Any second now, he's just gonna hit it.
Gord, there's a sword on the wall. You could smack it with the sword.
It's all right.
I mean,
What I really love is that everybody's still sticking around.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I could get my cell phone and I could like play the soundtrack from my cell phone into my mic.
All right. That's going to be in post.
Alaska Winter says, row, row, row your boat. Right. That's just
Let's sing a song. Gallia, sing us a song. No, sing us a song. Yeah, sing a song.
What song are we singing today?
Oh, here we go. We could do it. We'll do the X-Files. Ba-da-da-da-da-dun-dun. Go ahead, somebody whistle. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I can't. I'm laughing too hard.
I know.
Apparently, you can't pucker your lips into the whistle if you're laughing.
I'm dry. Okay, and
That's
we're
what she
back.
said?
Oh, fuck. Shh. I muted you. And we're back. So that's going to do it for the show. A lot of good discussion, in chat, and I think a lot of good discussion that we got from the studio at the close of business and just in general. And, you know, you can take away what you want to take away from this whole Mount Gate thing, but I think that what people should at the very least recognize is that Anet is not a greedy company that is just out for our money. So I think that should be at the very least recognized.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, we have any shout outs?
I do. Well, first shout out I want to make is to the awesome chat room we had tonight. I mean,
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
you guys brought it tonight.
Yep.
And you were very respectful and everything. So great job, chat room. I would like to thank every single person in here, but it would take a while. So thank you to everyone in the chat. That's my personal shout out. But I've also got something amazing to share. Another 5-star review.
Ooh.
Nice.
So we got wonderful podcast from RJ Weaver, and I'm assuming the II is for the second. Thank you all for spending your time every week to bring us your interesting and informative viewpoints from the game we love. It is much appreciated. Yours, Rich Weaver, a.k.a. Danton. Thank you, Rich. I'm assuming in-game name Danton. We really appreciate the 5-star review. And if you want to check out and give us a review, whether it be a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5, please feel free to log into iTunes and look for Shadow of the Dragon podcast and tell us what you think.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Anything else, buddy?
That is it for me.
All right, Miko, any shout outs?
I just want to say a big shout out, thank you to people who contributed to my Shining Blade quest, either in materials or in encouragement. Thank you all very much for keeping me motivated and going. I appreciate it all. And a good, really, really, like Galio said, shout out to everyone in chat today. Yeah, this has been a really good discussion, and I love that we kept it, just calm.
Yeah.
We were getting excited, but it's okay because we weren't being disrespectful to each other, and that I think is awesome.
Yeah.
I know, Garros. I know. About time.
Dolvik's asking, what's your next legendary?
Oh my God! Please don't talk to me about legendaries right now. I need to recover. I need to recover some gold.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
All right, Cora, I'm sure you have some shout outs.
Yeah, again, like I'm gonna be like everybody else. Thank you guys in the chat for being amazing. It was the topic I think we all have very passionate feelings about, and we all talked like adults, and that was nice. So thank you. I am gonna give a shout out to Tankin for taking me through Dragon Stand. It was super late at night, and you should have gone to bed because you had work, and instead you stayed up and you played the game with me, and that was awesome.
Tinkin
Thank
helps you a lot. You should pre-record the Tinkin weekly shout out.
I should just be like once again thank Tinkin.
Yeah.
Have like a little award.
He is a great guy, though.
He's amazing. He really is, and such good spirits for putting up with the Discord chat. But my real shout out is going to at WitchesBard on Twitter, because they sent me a message. I'm just going to read it. It said, "My first encounter of you and Shadow of the Dragon was episode 50. I'm so glad I waited for episode 52. Good job." And this is regards to episode 50 was the week that I was in a bad mood. And yeah. So my response to that was like, oh no, that was my bad week. I'm so sorry. Thank you for sticking around. And they came back and said, you owned up and you apologized to your co-host. That speaks that speaks volumes about your character, and I look forward to hearing you and the others more. And that just made my week, because I still felt really bad. And I was like, I can't, and it's out there forever as a podcast episode. Oh, God. So having Witch's Bard come and say, like, no, you're a good person still.
Yeah.
Really, really helped me
You're
feel
human.
better. Yeah.
It happens. And me,
It
Cora and
happens,
I, we've worked together on this show for almost a year and a half. Next week, the 22nd, is our 2-year anniversary. We've worked together for almost a year and a half. So we just have that relationship where it's kind of like stuff like this happens and we don't think anything of it. And we will sometimes forget that, you know, we have people that listen to us too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah, we talk like we're just two friends going at it at the bar or at a coffee
Exactly.
shop. And, oh, yeah, we're being recorded and it's out there forever. So
Yeah.
don't
We've
mix that
explained this
salty
many
food.
times. Is what you usually hear on the podcast before. You miss out on all of the fun and the laughs that we were doing that we did not record
Right.
when we were doing it. So doing it this way actually is really cool because you get to see that we really are real friends, and
Yeah.
you know it's like we're sitting around a round table because we can see each
Mhm.
other. So it's
exactly
pretty
right
cool.
now, yeah. Cora,
Yeah.
anything else?
No, that's where I'm going to end it this week.
Okay. I'm going to say,
except if Peter Freeze is listening, no praise Joko. No, bad Peter, bad. That's it.
I wonder
Lord.
if Joko's going to show up in Lion's Arch next to Drewbert when we kill him in X-Pac 3.
They'll be hanging.
Or
they'll be
Living
hanging
Story.
like
We're hanging,
marionettes
we're
together.
hanging together, right?
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome, right? All right, so I am going to say, don't forget, tomorrow, Talking Script is covering this, and I think that we should all go there and listen to another side of it. And probably on Wednesday, Host of Ascalon will be doing their live show. I believe Kit and it's Troy Alicious now. I believe that they covered it already.
So did Rolex.
Let's all get together and, you know,
Mhm.
Deo put it out there. Let's do a supercast. I'm down for that. If somebody can figure
Yeah,
out
me
the
too.
logistics of it, we're down. We're down.
How freaking
Yeah.
cool would that be?
That would be.
That would be
And I
cool.
think big issues like this, we should support the other guys. So even if you came here tonight and listened to it, make sure you check out Talking Script tomorrow. Make sure you check out Hosts of Ascalon when they go live. Troy Alicious when they go live on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m. Eastern, so that's or 2 p.m. No, it's 2 p.m. Making a fool of myself. 2 p.m. Pacific.
Pacific.
Okay, yeah. So check
Okay.
those guys out, and let's all just get out, listen to the different aspects, the different opinions, because everybody's got an opinion. You know, we kind of
Yeah.
stole the thunder this time, and I hope we didn't steal everybody's thunder. I don't think we did, because this is a huge issue, and everybody's got an opinion. So let's just work together on this and keep it clean. That's my shout out.
Community Podcast Summit 2017.
We should
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
Relics in there, Relics of War,
Yep.
Joylicious.
Dolo says we should do a massive
Tea
podcast that
time.
releases in parts all over the podcast. So you have to listen to them all to get the entire story.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
So Tea Time's gonna cover it, but Field Guide is not. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Good night.
anytime.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's on me, huh?
All
All right. Boom. All right, so
Put the beat down.
Gallios, if the good people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
You can reach me in Twitter at Gallios_GW2. You can reach me in game at Gallios.8142, and you can reach me on our SOTD podcast Discord at Gallios #3334.
Miko, where can the good people get in touch with you?
You can follow me on Twitter at InkySticks, here on Twitch, twitch.tv/InkySticks, Discord, Miko, #3586, or in-game, sanspen.6093.
Awesome. And Cora.
You can find me on Twitter at GuildLores. I'm also on Instagram at GuildLores and Tumblr at GuildLores. And Discord, I am Cora. Was it hashtag? Is it hashtag on Discord?
Hashtag, yeah.
Okay. 2568.
Good job.
And in game is South of Neptune 6254.
Oh, you're getting so good at that.
No,
Mhm.
I when Draws
She's got a
posted it
script.
in chat last time, I just copy and pasted and then I
She
have
pasted it on the screen.
She's got her script.
I have a
There you
script
go.
too. So
Good
if you
stuff.
want to get in touch with this show, you can email us at sotdpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SOTD_podcast. And you can find out everything about SOTD Podcast at SOTDpodcast.com. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Gord the Norn. You can get me in Discord at Gord #4133. And you can usually find me in game at Gord.8654. That was a great show, guys. Thank you,
Yep.
everyone, for
Awesome
coming
one.
out.
Thank you.
It was a great
Thank
show,
you.
great topic. And now I just imagine the Anchor Band scene with all the new screens. That's good. That'd be awesome. All
We should get like branded shirts.
right, let's close out the show and then we can do a post.
Okay.
All right. So great show, great topic, and really that's it. Say goodnight,
Yeah.
guys.
Good night,
Good
night,
guys.
Bye.